You have represented, you are a true champion at heart, and even though you're not going to be competing anymore, you're going to be an integral part of this sport.
Hi guys, welcome back with the Classic Physique Division lineup result of Mr. Olympia 2024. There were 54 incredible athletes this time vying on the Olympia stage, and we will try to cover as many as possible, so let's dive into it. One of the most impressive classic physique bodybuilders from China, Chen Kang, was out of top 15 this year. We saw him in 2019 shocking the bodybuilding world with his incredible physique and taking 5th place in Olympia. Many fans think he got robbed this time, as he was in the 7th call-out, which means he was fighting for place between 47 to 54. And it was the last call-out. I think he was highly overlooked by judges this year. In his last Olympia in 2022, he was at 14th place. Another very impressive classic physique athlete, Fabione Sylvain, has made his pro debut. He performed his individual presentation, and during prejudging he had to leave the stage due to his health complications, as he is suffering from colon cancer, and he was not feeling well during the competition, which is really sad to know. I hope he gives his highest priority to his health than anything else. One of the best Brazilian classic physique athlete, Gabriel Zancanelli, was at 13th place last year, but this year he was out of top 15. He was fighting in the 3rd call-out for place between 17 to 24, along with his fellow Brazilian Fabio Junior, who was 14th place finisher in 2023 Mr. Olympia. Fabio also could not crack top 15 this year. In the 3rd call-out, we also had one of the first classic physique athletes, Robert Timms. I think this is the first time he could not sneak in the top 15. In his last Olympia in 2021, he even beat Wesley Wizards and took 10th place. I think his lower half really hinders his ability to place higher. The phenom from South Korea, Jihon Bang, whose tremendous posing video got viral last year. He was also in the 3rd call-out in 2024 Olympia. People had very high hopes from Jihon Bang. Many had him in the top 10, even some had him in the top 5, and leading up to the show he looked really outstanding, and on stage he brought very sharp package. But I think he was kind of flat, which most likely hurt his placing, but it was an impressive performance from Jihon in his first Olympia. Carlos Roma was 11th place finisher last year, and this year he won Chicago Pro for Olympia qualification, but he also had to settle for out of top 15 in Olympia. Iranian classic physique athlete Vahid Badpi was also unable to sneak in the top 15 this time. He was battling out in the 4th call-out during prejudging. Last year he was at 9th place in Olympia. Eric Wildberger from Brazil has managed to crack top 15 this time. This year he won 2 pro shows, Pittsburgh Pro and Optimum Classic Pro, and in New York Pro he was at 2nd place. Justin Badurina has finished taking 14th place out of 54 contestants. It was his first performance in Olympia and he presented an impressive package. So Logan Franklin has finally competed in Olympia, I think after 4 years. Last time in 2020 Olympia he was at 9th place. In 2022 he had to withdraw from Olympia just couple of days before due to health complications. Now this time he was hoping to get rewarded with a higher place. Many fans wanted to see him in the first call out, but judges had him at 13th place, which is a very disappointing result for him, as he believed it was his all-time best package. Now he's planning to add more muscle mass in his off-season in order to be more competitive in next year Classic Physique Olympia. Logan was defeated by South Korean athlete Ji-Hoon Park. He was in very impressive conditioning with quad feathering. I personally like Logan's physique more, but undeniably Ji-Hoon had better conditioning, more muscle separation and back development, although he had some prominent bumps on his hips. From UK, Niall Darwin has made his Olympia debut and he managed to take solid 11th place in his first attempt to the Mr. Olympia. He has one of the best classic physique structure, incredible shape and lines with extremely small midsection, and he has brought very astonishing package with imposing conditioning. Matthew Grego has made some decent improvements in his back this year. He came from men's physique division to classic physique. If we compare Matthew with Logan, Logan's physique flows much better, and even some fans believe he does not have a very classic physique structure. But he brings very sharp, very crisp physique on stage, and he has managed to crack top 10 this year. And this was his only second year being classic physique athlete. Last year he was not even in the top 15. The rising star from Brazil, Matheus Menegace, has taken 9th place in his debut on biggest bodybuilding stage, which is highly impressive. He has very phenomenal physique, very shapely and aesthetically pleasing, and next year might be possible he moves up in the lineup. In my opinion, he has amazing structure and has massive potential for the classic physique division. All the way from Netherlands, Wesley Wissers was one of the heavy hitters this year for Olympia. Many fans were hoping to see him fighting for the title against Chris Bumstead. And after beating Ramon Dino, Urs Kalecinski and Michael the Bull, he really wanted to get compared with the frontrunners. And he was even aiming to beat Chris and win his first classic physique Olympia title this year. Maybe he was slightly harder in the Arnold Classic Ohio, whereas in Olympia he brought an improved back. He had more back thickness. But I think his hamstrings are the main issue for him, not being able to stand head to head with the reigning champ on the Mr. Olympia stage. Wesley had to drop down to 8th place this time. So Michael the Bull has finished taking 7th place in Olympia. He does not have very pleasing structure for a classic physique division, but he always brings very sharp, very well-defined physique. He is arguably the most shredded classic physique contender on the Mr. Olympia stage, always very dry and crisp. Michael is much stronger in the hamstrings department, but I like the overall flow and shape of Wesley's physique. From my standpoint, Wesley was losing from Michael only in the back double bicep shot due to his weak hamstrings, although he has much better lash development. And in all other shots, he was dominant in my honest opinion, as he has much better shape, aesthetics and structure, and at the end this is classic physique division. But please also share your opinion guys, maybe I'm completely wrong in my assessment. From Spain, Jose Manuel Munoz has managed to beat a lot of experienced Olympians in his very first attempt in the Olympia. So kudos to him finishing at 6th place out of 54 classic physique athletes. And he's only 22 years old, which is extremely impressive. He has made incredible improvements in a short amount of time. I think he has more a bodybuilding physique than classic. He has a wider waistline. He's also not so shapely and aesthetically pleasing like Brion, Ramon or Terence Ruffin. But he has done a very good job presenting an invincible package which led him beating 48 contestants in his Olympia debut. He has very well defined, very quality muscles with extremely sharp conditioning, especially his hamstrings. His back is phenomenal. The oldest contestant in the show and the 2 times classic physique Olympia champ, Brion Ansley, has brought again very imposing physique this year. He has so much details all over his physique with a very impressive structure and small tiny waist, and he presents his physique very well. He is almost 45 years old and he is still one of the front runners of the show and one of the most consistent bodybuilder. Brion is the only Olympian who ever defeated Chris Bumstead. The Brazilian sensation Ramon Dino was runner-up in Olympia for last 2 years, but this time he had to drop down to the 4th place. From the beginning of the prejudging this year, judges did not have him in the top 3. Most likely he was unable to sway the judges, as arguably he did not bring any significant improvements this year. He was sweating a lot and fading a little bit. And also Urs and Mike were much better than last year. So Urs Kalecinski has managed to defeat Ramon after 3 years. He's much better in the presentation compared to Ramon. I think his posing routine is one of the best in the entire classic physique division. And this time he managed to peak well under the guidance of his coach Stefan Kinzel. He has improved his back density and width, which could be the reason judges had him higher than Ramon this time. Mike Sommerfeld from Germany has moved up from 8th place last year to 2nd place this year. He started his professional bodybuilding in the 212 division and transitioned to classic physique division in 2020. And this year he has made incredible transformation. He has put on quality size on his frame and he was a lot harder and sharper, especially his back improvement is outstanding. Compared to Urs, arguably Urs has better classic physique structure and flow, and even his lats from front are amazing, but in the back shots he does not have very impressive V-taper and wider lats. Whereas Mike was the smallest contender in the top 3, but he looks very dominant in the back shots and he has very wide clavicles, so judges have preferred Mike this time to stand next to the champ Chris Bumstead. Surely this year it was a better version of Chris than last year, and obviously Chris was unbeatable this year again. No one was even close to the level of his muscle maturity, definition and conditioning, whereas interestingly some of the judges had Mike at 1st place.
And if you look at the score sheets, he had him 1st place. Mike did.
I mean, he had from some judge, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So some judge had him 1st. So that tells you how they closing in. So it was closer than people thought it would be. It was not a walk in the park for Chris.
But Chris is undeniably a well-deserved winner. He has set very high standards in the classic physique division, which each athlete tried to chase it for the last 6 years. And now after the retirement of Chris, next year we will see a new champ for the classic physique division. So Mike, Urs, Ramon and also Brion have higher chance vying for the 1st place in 2025 Mr. Olympia. Massive congratulations to the modern era legend Chris Bumstead for the victory.
And 6-time Olympia champion, Chris Bumstead.
Good stuff, man.
Good stuff. Congrats,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bumstead.
This is gonna be my last time up on the stage.
Phil.
Chris, let me say this. On behalf of all the people here and around the world, you have been the greatest champion that we could have possibly asked for in the classic physique division. You have represented, you are a true champion at heart, and even though you're not going to be competing anymore, you're going to be an integral part of this sport. Standing ovation as it should be. Chris Bumstead, enjoy this moment on the Olympia stage.